Have you ever tried to tell someone you were in danger, but they just didn't listen? This is the story of Chloe, a young woman facing a terrifying new kind of threat, one that existed only behind a screen. And it's the story of Officer Evans, a police officer who was supposed to protect her, but dismissed her fears as nothing more than teenage drama. What happens when that online drama spills into the real world with life-threatening consequences? You're about to find out. Before we continue the story, we would love to know where you are watching from. Please let us know in the comments so we can bring more stories that resonate with you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you will never miss our upcoming stories. All right, let's dive into the story. The fluorescent lights of the police precinct hummed with a tired, steady buzz. It was a slow Tuesday afternoon. Officer Karen Evans sat at her desk, staring at a mountain of paperwork. With 15 years on the force, she had seen almost everything. Robberies, car accidents, domestic disputes. Real problems, she called them. Concrete problems. So when a young woman named Chloe Martinez and her worried mother walked in, Officer Evans felt a familiar sense of impatience. Chloe was about 17 with wide, terrified eyes. She clutched her phone in her hand like it was a venomous snake. "What can I do for you?" Officer Evans asked, her voice flat. I need to file a report," Chloe stammered. "I'm being harassed. Online." Officer Evans sighed quietly. Online. To her, that word meant it wasn't real. It was just drama. "Okay," she said, pulling out a form without much interest. "What kind of harassment?" Chloe took a deep breath. "It started in a video game community. Someone got angry and found my social media. Now it's a group of them. They're sending me hundreds of messages. They're threatening me." "What kind of threats?" Officer Evans asked, tapping her pen. "They said they know where I live. They posted a satellite image of my house. They're saying they're going to hurt me. Hurt my family." Chloe's voice trembled and she showed Officer Evans her phone. The screen was filled with hateful, violent messages from anonymous accounts. Officer Evans glanced at the phone but didn't really read the messages. She had seen this a dozen times before. "Listen, I know this feels scary," she said, trying to sound helpful but mostly sounding dismissive. "But these are just words on a screen. They're probably just kids in another state, or even another country trying to get a reaction out of you." Chloe's mother spoke up. "But officer, they posted our address. That's a real threat, isn't it?" Officer Evans leaned back in her chair. "Look, the best thing you can do is just log off. Deactivate your accounts for a while. Block them. If you don't give them an audience, they'll get bored and move on. It's like the old saying, 'Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt you.'" Chloe looked at the officer, her eyes filling with tears of frustration. "But you don't understand," she pleaded. "It's not that simple. There are too many of them to block. And they know where I live. It doesn't feel like just words to me." Officer Evans's patience was gone. "Young lady," she said, her voice becoming firm, "we have real crimes to deal with here. People are getting robbed, assaulted. I can't send a police car to someone's house because of a mean comment on the internet. It's teenage drama, that's all. Go home, turn off your computer, and it will all blow over. I promise." Defeated, Chloe and her mother left the station. Chloe felt a cold knot of dread in her stomach. The one person who was supposed to help her had told her that her terror wasn't real. She felt completely, utterly alone. Officer Evans watched them go, shook her head, and went back to her paperwork, already forgetting the girl's name. That night, Chloe was in her room trying to do homework, but she couldn't focus. Her phone buzzed endlessly. The messages were getting worse, more detailed, more violent. Then a new message popped up from an account she didn't recognize. It just said, "We see you. Time to play a new game." A wave of pure panic washed over her. She turned off all the lights in her room and peeked out the window. Every car that drove by, every shadow that moved, felt like a threat. Officer Evans's words echoed in her mind. Teenage drama. Just log off. But how could she log off from the street outside her own house? The next day, Officer Evans was back on patrol. The shift was almost over when the call came through the radio. The dispatcher's voice was urgent, laced with adrenaline. All units, all units. We have a 1031 in progress. Hostage situation with an armed suspect. Multiple shots fired. Address is 452 Oak Street. Officer Evans's heart hammered in her chest. That was a serious call. A life-or-death call. Her training kicked in. She flicked on her sirens and sped towards the address, her mind racing. Hostages. Shots fired. This was real police work. This was what mattered. She was one of the first to arrive. Several other police cars were already there, officers taking cover behind their doors, guns drawn. A full SWAT team was on its way. The street was filled with the terrifying scream of sirens. The supervising sergeant yelled out the address again, 452 Oak Street. We have a report of a man with a rifle who has shot his family and is holding his daughter hostage. And then it hit her. A cold, sickening feeling washed over Officer Evans. 452 Oak Street. She knew that address. It was from the report form she had filled out yesterday, the one she had dismissed. It was Chloe Martinez's house. No, she whispered to herself. It can't be, but it was. She was now standing outside the home of the girl she had told to just log off, ready to storm the building for a reported massacre. Her mind reeled. Had the online threats been real? Had one of those people actually shown up? Guilt, sharp and heavy, hit her like a physical blow. This was her fault. She hadn't listened. The SWAT team arrived, and a plan was made in seconds. With a loud bang, they breached the front door. "Police, show me your hands! Get down now!" they screamed. Officer Evans followed them in, her gun shaking slightly in her hands. The scene inside was not what they expected. There was no gunman. There were no victims bleeding on the floor. There was just Chloe, her mother and her little brother, huddled together on the living room sofa, staring in absolute terror at the armed officers who had just exploded into their home. The TV was on, playing a cartoon. The family was forced to the floor, confused and sobbing. The officers cleared the house room by room, finding nothing. No guns, no suspect, no hostages. It was a hoax, a fake call, designed to create chaos and terror, a dangerous prank known as swatting. As the adrenaline faded, Officer Evans felt a wave of shame so intense it made her feel sick. She looked at Chloe, who was now being comforted by her mother. The girl's face was pale, streaked with tears. This was not teenage drama. This was real, calculated cruelty. And it could have ended in tragedy. Someone could have gotten hurt. The police could have made a terrible mistake in the chaos. After everything was clear, Officer Evans walked slowly over to the family. She took off her hat, holding it in her hands. "Chloe," she said, her voice soft and full of regret. "I am so sorry." Chloe looked up, her eyes empty of the fire they held yesterday, now just filled with fear. "I tried to tell you," Chloe whispered, her voice hoarse from crying. "I know," Officer Evans said, her own voice cracking. "I know you did. I didn't listen. I saw words on a screen and I didn't understand. I didn't see this. I didn't realize it could lead to this. My mistake put you and your family in terrible danger. And I will do everything I can to make it right." For the first time, Chloe saw not a dismissive officer, but a human being who understood she had made a grave error. The investigation that followed was no longer about simple harassment. It was a major crimes case. Officer Evans personally led it, working tirelessly with the cybercrimes unit. She didn't treat it like a minor issue anymore. She treated it like the serious, life-threatening crime it was. She had learned a hard lesson, that in the modern world, the threats you can't see are sometimes the most dangerous of all. And listening, truly listening, was the most important part of her job. And that was the story of Chloe and Officer Evans. A powerful reminder that the dangers of the online world are very, very real, and that everyone deserves to be heard. Let us know in the comments, have you ever felt like you weren't being taken seriously by someone in authority? How did it make you feel? If this story resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button. It is completely free for you, but it helps our channel a lot in bringing more stories like this to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.